my friends. Welcome back from spring break. Today, April 13th. I thought we'd start out with a little refresher about what we've learned so far in U.S. history, just as a little reminder, okay? Okay. So, we started out this year with Europeans coming to North America, some for mercantilism, some for religious freedom, but they come to North America, they settle into 13 colonies. Life is good, but then the French and Indian War, taxes, we declare our independence. We fight the Revolutionary War. We win. USA! USA! But then we have to come up with a plan for our new country. You know, how's our government going to work? The first plan, the Articles, not so good. The second plan, our Constitution, not bad. And with that, Georgie Boy takes over as the first president of the United States. He's the precedent president, and we think of him as a great one because he had to set the example all by himself. So when he dealt with the Whiskey Rebellion and the debt and the Native Americans, he had to do all that on the fly, and we think he did a pretty good job. 8 years later, John Adams takes over as president. Now, he keeps us out of war with France with that XYZ affair, but he becomes very unpopular with the passing of the Alien and Sedition Acts, two very unpopular laws. So after 4 years, he gets voted out. Sweet Tommy J, he gets voted in. Doubles the size of our country with the Louisiana Purchase, but he kind of stumbles with that Embargo Act. 8 years after he gets elected, the fourth president takes over, James Madison. The big issue during his presidency, the War of 1812. Now, we don't win it, but we don't lose it. And the success of our economy during that war kind of springboards the country into some pretty good times. And that leads us to our fifth president, James Monroe, whose presidency was known as the era of good feelings. He acquires Florida. He tells the rest of the world to stay out of the Western Hemisphere, don't try to colonize anymore, and it's a pretty good 8 years. Then John Adams' son, John Quincy Adams, takes over our sixth president, and he doesn't really do a whole lot. Nothing is really accomplished during his 4 years of presidency. And then we get to my main man, Andrew Jackson, and this is where we're picking up Andrew Jackson and his revolution. Now, I want you to think about those first six guys we just talked about. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams number two. What do they all have in common? They were wealthy. They were educated. They were upper class, proper men. This is a sharp contrast to our seventh president, Andrew Jackson. Remember story time? Of course you do. You watched that video. Andrew Jackson, much different from the first six presidents. He's born in the backwoods of Carolina, a poor man. His dad dies a few days after his birth. Doesn't go to school, has no interest in it, would rather fight, would rather hunt, would rather swear. By 13 years old, he's fighting in the Revolutionary War, where he develops a hatred that he would carry with him for the rest of his life. By the end of the Revolutionary War, his mom is dead, his brothers are dead, and he's alone. After some troubled times, he rolls up his sleeve and gets to work with his life. He becomes a lawyer, a judge, and a congressman. He's a real self-made man. War of 1812 rolls around. He volunteers and becomes a national hero by leading us some victories in that war. He's a hero so much so that people consider, hey, you should run for president. He doesn't win in 1824 against John Quincy Adams, but in 1828, he becomes our seventh president of the United States. So if I was writing a Roses Are Red poem, which for those of you who did, high five, whoosh. Roses are red. Jackson's early life was rough. He wasn't the most educated, but he certainly was tough. Snap, 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 snap. Oh, thank you, Caesar. I thought it was a pretty good poem, too. So really, what we're going to look at in 10.3 and 10.4 and 10.5 is Jackson. Was he an effective president? Was he a good or a great president? What makes a good or a great president? Would you rather have a guy who does what America wants and is in the best interests of the United States? Or would you rather have a guy do what's morally right as a human being? Is he a good person? And that's kind of the interesting thing about Andrew Jackson's presidency is that debate. Some people love him, some people not so much. And I'm excited to find out what you guys think of Andrew. So settle in. That's where we're headed, and that's what we're going to be doing. Peace. Thanks for watching.